What you need to really avoid before purchasing a home.
Yeah, this is a topic that we explain all the time to clients when they're trying to buy a home, but they don't always believe us, and they really should, because this can stop you from buying a home. So, number one, let's just jump into it. Large purchases, luxury purchases. Don't even buy your refrigerator if I'm going to tell you, and definitely don't be thinking about buying a car. So we're not going to go buy high-end gadgets. Anything that you're going to change your credit score in any sort of number. You want to change your business. You want to open this credit card instead of this credit card. We're not doing when we're trying to buy a home. We're stopping anything that's going to affect our credit in any way.
Especially now, the car finance of the 7.2%. If you buy a car between $40,000 to $45,000, your monthly payment is going to be $1,000 just for the car. Therefore, this is super important to pay attention with.
Another thing to avoid is any sort of grand celebration. Like you're going to have some sort of $50,000 wedding, $100,000 wedding. You are focusing all of your attention on buying a home. This is where your energy needs to be. If you're planning a wedding and planning a home, it's going to get very difficult. I had a client recently. They postponed their wedding because they wanted to make sure they got the house, and their wedding is coming after they buy a home because they wanted to focus all of their energy one at a time. And I thought that's a very good attitude in order to have. So they found their home that they wanted, they bought it together, and now they're planning their wedding. And it's really a nice thing that you get to do to plan time. And you can see the home buying process took a journey. Now the wedding is taking a journey. And we also had a fun journey. We weren't planning on buying a house at that moment when we planned our wedding. But we took time every single week in order to plan the wedding, in order to have what we wanted. So I feel like if you're trying to do both, you're just going to end in disaster. So I would say focus on one at a time.
Exactly. But before we go to the next point, what's we going to do?
Let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Honestly, you call text all the time at 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Do not be shy. Also, don't forget our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Exactly. Now, with that, let's talk about travel plans.
Exactly. Number one was major financial commitment. Number two is basically employment.
Before we get to, let's talk about travel.
Travel? Okay.
Travel, right? Fun, vacation, luxury cruises, Vegas, right? I did have a client who went to Vegas in the middle of their home purchase, and that kind of could have destroyed the whole deal. Luckily, they had somebody to get me the paperwork that they needed, and they gave me the bank finances in order to give their lender, which I'm a real estate agent. I shouldn't be getting your finances at all. But hey, they needed to go to Vegas. I don't recommend, if you're going to go on a vacation, try to do it after we buy the home. It could have just destroyed everything, and I really don't want to get your bank statements as a real estate agent because it's not my business, and I don't feel comfortable. So I would say plan your vacation before you buy a home, after you buy a home. Just fun things, because it's going to happen. Home buying is a major person. You don't want to take it like laissez-faire, like, and then whatever happens, because things do happen. And if you're not there to handle it because you're on vacation somewhere, then that's going to be a problem because you're going to delay and lose. You could be losing your due diligence here in North Carolina. Now let's talk about unemployment.
The second thing that we wanted to talk is basically employment consistency. Maintaining a job, especially in the same category or industry that you are basically working, is one of the main points for getting a loan when you want to purchase a home.
Now, when he said that, you should be employed for at least 2 years in the same brand or the same type of job. It does not have to be the exact same job. It does not have to show, it can show growth. You can show that you've changed your job 5 times in the past 2 years. However, we're showing we're in the same industry and that we're growing. So that is really what they care about. Now, let's talk about self-employed in this category.
Well, self-employed is a different kind of scenario.
You still need 2 years though.
You need at least 2 years income. I mean, they need a lot of documents,
right,
especially. And then you need 2 years of tax return at that point.
Tax returns that show you're making a profit. So not tax returns where you're minimizing what you make. So we're organizing, making sure everything is in place to get the best mortgage for yourself. So it's a little bit of a different situation. So when you're self-employed and you're trying to buy a home, find out what everything that you need to do in order to have that initial consultation, find out everything you're going to need, and then make a plan to get all that stuff in order. So there's a little just more steps in place. You can do it. You can definitely buy a home, but you have to just follow the steps.
Exactly. The second thing is maintaining residential stability. What is that?
So in the middle of buying a home, let's not move houses and signing another apartment lease, because that can cause problems. So you want to show that you are stable, you're reliable as a borrower. So they want to see that your lease agreements are stable, that you're paying everything on time, that you're honoring all your commitments. So they're looking for, if you don't show your commitments, it can be a concern for the lenders.
Exactly. And number 4 actually is very related also to the number 2, which is navigating job transition, and do it wisely. Why is that?
He skipped one, but okay, we're going to jump into the job transition. So if you're doing it wisely, like you found another job, same type of job, but it's a better pay, go for it. You're allowed. That's great. Just make sure that it looks that way. So when you want to show the lender that that's exactly why you chose it, that you're super stable, you're someone they want to give a loan to.
Yes. The whole main point of the loan is they see as much as they can stability and less risk in your portfolio. And the second that they see instability, then brings a red flag for the underwriter that wanted to basically prove your loan.
Right. The thing that my husband skipped over with that, now let's go backtrack from these jobs, is finances.
Exactly.
If you have you need banking transactions, you need to prove that this money is in the bank. You can't just be putting your money in a security deposit, which surprisingly people do. So when you put your money into a security deposit, you're not showing a financial record. So when you then whip out $100,000 and put it into your account and say, I have $100,000, that's not, it's great that you have this money, but it needs to be seeded. It needs to see that it's there and that there's a trail for this money at a certain amount of time. So if you are somebody who does things like that, you're going to also have to have the initial consultation with the lender and say, this is what I have. And they're going to tell you to put the money in the bank, to be entirely honest. Or if someone happened and you got $10,000, you have to be able to explain where that $10,000 came from. So keep your financial records. Make sure you can explain any large transactions, because those are going to stop you from buying a home.
Because lenders really care about your financial stability, and make sure that you have your down payment and closing costs, which is any cost that is associated with giving you the money. And they wanted to see that in your bank account to be secure. No, that's why they need to see the track of that in the paperwork and bank statements.
With that brings up to the last point we're going to talk about, is that banks like to see that you control your own money, that you have financial discipline, that you are not someone who's going to, even if your credit is amazing, but if you're paying someone else to handle all your bills, that doesn't necessarily show financial discipline. And what happens if you send all your bills to, I'm going to name her Katie, and then Katie quits on you? How are all your bills going to get paid? If you're not showing financial discipline yourself and saying this is what needs to be done, then that can also cause a red flag. So you want to make sure that you're in control of your finances. If you don't know what to do, you've had some consultations on what to do, but you need to make sure that you are in control of your life, because that is really something banks need to see.
Exactly. That includes not opening a lot of credit card or applying for the loan for auto loan for as many that you can. Therefore, all of this financial plus the history of the payment, no late payment, is going to help you to get that loan for purchasing a home.
So we hope you love these things on what to avoid. We love talking about buying home, the home buying process, all the time, every day, all day. So call us with any questions. We're happy to talk to you.
Don't forget to call us at 252-327-3357. Also, write us a comment and subscribe in our channel. We'll love to connect with you, and see you in next podcast and video.